Hello, everyone. Today, I'd like to give a quick lesson in using topic sentences effectively in an essay as a way to maintain focus and to organize. So this is a paper from 2010 written by a student in AP Language and Composition on the Scarlet Letter. And I thought I would read you the title in the first paragraph, and then we'll look at her topic sentences and see how she sticks to her topic and how she organizes. So the title is Sin, Punishment, and Judgment, the Role of Justice in the Scarlet Letter, which, by the way, I note as an effective title because it tells what the paper will be about. All right, first paragraph. The concept of justice is one that is neither concretely defined nor identically interpreted by all members of a particular society. This truth could not be more evident than in Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter, in which the protagonist, Hester Prynne, is convicted on charges of adultery and subsequently must bear the shame of one night's forbidden intimacy on her chest. Though the deepest ignominy of Hester Prynne's sin is felt by the adulterer herself, the actions evoked by the Scarlet Letter unmistakably reveal the ideologies of the other major components of the story in regard to the concept of justice. Hester, Chillingworth, and Dimmesdale, whose actions demonstrate divergent interpretations of the concept of justice, illustrate anomalies created by Hawthorne chiefly to critique the injustices of Puritanism, which was considered the norm. So this last bit is her thesis statement, and I noted that it's a very good thesis because it's specific and it answers the questions how and why, which you will remember from the previous lesson on writing thesis statements, are questions that should be answered by a thesis. So she's dealing with the concept of justice and different interpretations of that and how that they're illustrated by Hawthorne's main characters. So here's our first topic sentence. The first such instance of the above-mentioned bifurcation is the stance that society as a metaphorical character takes on Hester Prynne's sin and the appropriate punishment for her to endure. So one thing to note about this is the smooth transition she makes, the first such instance of the above-mentioned bifurcation. So I like the way this makes a natural, organic transition. It doesn't feel stiff, it flows nicely. She uses a fancy word here, bifurcation, which essentially is division, and then introduces this idea that society as a metaphorical character takes on Hester Prynne's sin and the appropriate punishment for her to endure. All right, so then she goes on to argue that point. As I noted here, as an effective first topic sentence, it puts us at the beginning of both her idea and the novel's plot. And she introduces as one of her first sources Nina Boehm, who is a Hawthorne scholar, and what Boehm said in her introduction, that Puritan Boston believes that adultery is a sin in the eyes of God and accordingly has made it a crime. All right, so she goes on to cite another secondary source, and then she moves on to her next paragraph. Debatably, the most profound interpretation of justice in the Scarlet Letter is that of the Reverend Arthur Dimmesdale, the father of Hester's child and the object of Hester's repressed affection. So we see again, she's sticking to her idea of justice and an interpretation of justice, and Dimmesdale is the focus of this paragraph. So this is effective topic sentence. It states a point in support of her thesis. She goes on to blend primary source quotations and matching citations in the works cited. Her next body paragraph has this topic sentence. Dimmesdale's despicable hypocrisy is one of the many tools that he uses to fuel the fire of his repentance. So it's to be noted that here we have another paragraph devoted to Dimmesdale, but since her idea is shifting a bit, she's made it her own paragraph, or its own paragraph. And again, nice organic flow from the idea. Let's look at this last sentence. The secrecy that enshrouds Dimmesdale's offense directly contributes to his glaring cowardice and stinging public deception. Dimmesdale's despicable hypocrisy, All right, so this is building off of this nice organic transition. We don't see any of those clunky transitional words and phrases. She's just moving organically from idea to idea. I recommend doing that in your topic sentences, making smooth transitions in that way. Next paragraph. It is true also that, like all other Christians, Dimmesdale could expect to suffer a fall from greatness. So interestingly, she uses a single word blended quotation in here from Davidson, another secondary source. And again, she's still focused on Dimmesdale here. All right, short paragraph, and then she moves on to this. The sinner herself acknowledges her offense, and over the 7 years that the book spans, Hester imposes her own form of justice to atone for her sin. Okay, so now she is shifting away from Dimmesdale and examining Hester Prynne. And again, nice organic transition. We don't see any of the clunky phrases. She just moves from Dimmesdale to the sinner herself, and we know that that's Hester. All right, next paragraph. Hester not only performs acts that operate as retribution for her own sins, but also acts to provide protection for Dimmesdale and for her husband, Roger Chillingworth. All right, so interesting new idea introduced, but still sticking with the idea of Hester and the ideas of justice that she's arguing. Then she's going to shift to Chillingworth in this paragraph. Mr. Roger Chillingworth, though seemingly a peripheral character in the novel's beginning, is actually central to the story's unraveling plot. All right. So again, she's made a nice organic transition, shifting to the idea of Chillingworth, and she's going to explore notions of justice with regard to that character. Next paragraph. As the story progresses, however, the true character of Chillingworth is revealed. Another nice, smooth transition. Another paragraph about Chillingworth. Next paragraph. Throughout the Scarlet Letter, Hawthorne uses the actions of his main characters to convey the different interpretations and applications of justice of each. Okay, we can see how this is a summation, so she is moving into her conclusion. And indeed, this is going to be her conclusion paragraph. So she's set up nicely, organized beautifully, examining Dimmesdale, Hester, Chillingworth, and then actions of his main characters. Right? She's summing it up. And then we see her works cited. Give another lesson on works cited to come. But this is how to organize an essay effectively by using topic sentences that build upon, illustrate, or prove the thesis statement. All right, we saw some nice transitions too that you can learn from. All right, everybody, that's it.